There is absolutely no doubt that the data shows that the vast majority of incidents of domestic terror come from white nationalism, and that we are really truly facing an environment of fascism. And in the United States of America, this type of intimidation at the polls brings us to Jim Crow. It brings us back and harkens back to a very unique form of American apartheid that is not that long past ago. And we have never fully healed from it. And those wounds threaten to rip right back open if we do not strongly defend democracy in the United States of America.
So right there, AOC is talking about the threat being posed, literally as we're recording this, by the so-called ballot watchers who have been organized by the right wing in advance of the midterm elections. They're now being dispatched to watch the polling places in counties across America. Now, poll watchers are not particularly new. There have been, especially right-wingers, attempting to intimidate, particularly people of color, when it comes to their vote for a very long time. But we are seeing in more and more areas people wearing full-on tactical gear because these people love cosplay more than literally anything else. People with weapons attempting to, while narrowly staying within the law, the vague protections against voter intimidation that we have right now, and still trying to scare people. Trying to put the fear in people that maybe a shooting could happen, maybe there will be an attack. And I worry the more and more we see of these sorts of things that it might influence some people's decision to vote, particularly in areas where you can't do mail-in ballots. So I'm glad that in that appearance you had AOC and I believe Jamie Raskin speaking out in defense of democracy, because there's a lot of reasons to be worried about how this election is going to be run.
I totally agree. This is kind of the groundwork that has been laid since after the 2020 election. The theme of the day is Republicans seeing how far they can get away with tomfoolery, skullduggery, and conservatives across the world too, with Jair Bolsonaro. But when you look at what happened in 2020, they were able to poke and see, okay, the legal angle doesn't totally work for us, but maybe the state elector angle works for us. And so they got to figure out whatever way they can to make it so if a Republican wins, they won't contest that election. If a Democrat wins, they will try to contest that election. And so we need to really be concerned about that. But definitely the most concerning thing is you have violent mobs at these poll places that is going to intimidate voters, and they know what they're doing when they're attempting those kinds of things. So it's really scary, and hopefully this highlights the need for what Democrats in the House have been passing first bill for the past 2 House sessions now, which is a Voting Rights Reform Act that has some teeth on it that actually targets some of these voter suppression measures.
Well, look, everybody stay safe, vote early. Less likely that these people will be around. Hopefully vote by mail if you can. A bulletin from federal officials said that there's gonna be heightened threats of violence, not just against voters, but also against election workers. That's a big fear. Steve Bannon is talking about how we're trained this time. They failed in overthrowing democracy. He thinks they've got a better shot this year. We'll see. Also bear in mind, people from the Oath Keepers and Proud Boys are not just watching with guns, they're volunteering to work in these places. So what effect will that have? Will we ever know? God only knows. I don't know. New poll shows 7 out of 10 Republicans believe a strong economy is a bigger concern than a functioning democracy. When you word it that way, it seems easy to side with democracy, but 7 out of 10 of them found a way to go in the other direction. Anyway, stay safe out there. We're gonna be watching, we're gonna be covering it and seeing what happens with what remains of our democracy.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.